Hello, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your Mercury retrograde reading. Mercury retrograde is the opportune time for us to pause and reflect. So that's what we'll do today. We're using tarot and my little cue cards here to see where you're currently at and what changes maybe need to be made. So when Mercury goes direct on August 3rd or August 4th, you will be exactly where you need to be and aligned with your path and journey. Keep in mind, it is a collective general reading. So as the messages come through today, take what fits, leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, just simply means it's meant for someone else. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what those placements are, in the description box of this video is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. Okay, with all of that said now, let's begin. Tapping into the Capricorn collective now, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. We need one oracle card here, please, for their message from Mercury retrograde. One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have surrendering to the journey, release control. And at the bottom of the deck, we have solitude. In silence, peace prevails. Okay. Tell me more about this, please, for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. For their Mercury in retrograde reading, we are clarifying the anchor. Where do you need to pause? The loop, what pattern are you repeating? The insight, what past is resurfacing so you can look at it and heal? The filter, what boundary needs to be replaced? The pivot, how to prepare for when Mercury goes direct? And the return, who or what may return during the retrograde or immediately afterwards. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The anchor is clarified by the Three of Swords. The loop is clarified by the Ten of Wands. The insight is clarified by the Seven of Pentacles. The filter is clarified by the Knight of Pentacles. The pivot is clarified by the Magician. And the return is clarified by the Nine of Swords. Bottom of the deck, we have Two of Wands. Okay, we're going to clarify this message using the After Tarot deck. The cards are slightly different in this deck, like the images are different, so it does alter the meanings, and we'll go through them as necessary in your reading today. This is for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. We are clarifying the anchor, Three of Swords, the loop, Ten of Wands, the insight, Seven of Pentacles, the filter, Knight of Pentacles, the pivot, the Magician, and the return, the Nine of Swords. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The anchor, the Three of Swords, clarified by Temperance. The loop, Ten of Wands, clarified by Justice. The insight, Seven of Pentacles, clarified by the High Priestess. The filter, the Knight of Pentacles, clarified by the Knight of Swords. The pivot, the Magician, clarified by the Three of Pentacles. And the return, Nine of Swords, clarified by the Ace of Swords. Bottom of the deck, we have Three of Cups. Okay, obviously we will clarify. The anchor, you're still holding on to that Three of Swords. I almost feel indulge is the wrong word. I don't think anyone indulges in the Three of Swords, but I feel like you revisit it and not in a way that is healing to you. So you're continuing to hold on to something that at the very least, because for me, Three of Swords is sliding scale, some type of disappointment that has really stuck with you. And if we swing that pendulum to the opposite end, then this would be real heartbreak here. But you're still holding on to it. That Temperance card tells me you have been struggling to move on from it or heal from it. And I heard the word indulging, but I don't think anyone indulges in the Three of Swords. It seems to be an inability to truly heal of a Three of Swords experience. And I'll tell you why. I feel like with that loop, Ten of Wands to Justice, you're waiting for someone to make it right. You want clarity, or you want closure, or you want, an apology, or you're waiting for the person to make it right, or you're waiting for the universe to get maybe like karmic retribution on your behalf. There's something here. I'm stuck in this loop. I keep holding on to the weight of what occurred here to me, because I want someone or something or the universe to make it right. The insight. Something here is occurring for you that's going to resurface this wound during the Mercury retrograde. It's going to show you how you're holding on to it and how you can release it. And the filter would be looking at what you've been holding on to and moving forward in that Knight of Swords to actually release it and move on from it. The pivot, the Magician to the Three of Pentacles, it's utilizing various tools, if you will, to be able to rebuild yourself after that Three of Swords moment. The return. I feel like if we don't utilize the time period here, Mercury retrograde, to fully address that Three of Swords moment, and if we keep waiting for the person who created it or injured us in that way to make it right, I feel like we go right back to being trapped in that cycle of always thinking about it. Let's begin to clarify. Can you clarify that Three of Swords, please? So the anchor is the pain. I'm anchored to the pain. I try to heal it in the Temperance, but I find a lot of difficulty with it. I revisit it often, meaning I think about it all the time. Swords are not just the words we speak, or in this case, what we're feeling, but we're also thinking about it. So we're talking about the pain, we're feeling the pain, we're thinking about the pain. So we are attempting to address the pain in that manner, but it's not fully healing it. Like it's still stuck to us. Whatever this person said or did, the wound has not healed yet. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Three of Swords is clarified by the King of Pentacles, the Ten of Swords, and the Ace of Swords. Bottom of the deck, the Six of Swords. Whew. Okay, so this is you in your highest vibration. So you are aware of this in the King of Pentacles. I feel like you talk about whatever this person did or said to you that wounded you, the betrayal, the deception, the heartache, the trauma. Okay, we'll call it the trauma. I feel like you do discuss it a lot. I think you're seeing it for what it is. I don't think you're diluting yourself or diluting what occurred. I think you know exactly what happened here. I think you have absolute clarity about it, but I think you've been finding it difficult to move on from it or to heal it. It's like when we drink something like red wine or fruit punch and it spills on a white tablecloth. We're talking about the stain. The stain is there. We're talking about the incident, how the stain was created, how the glass tipped over, what the environment was, what was happening, but we're not doing anything to actually like address the stain. So the stain is still there. We talk about it. We see it. We talk about how it occurred and who did it, and what we felt when we saw that glass spill over and dump that, red beverage, if you will, all over the white tablecloth. But we struggle when it comes to actually healing it. Clarify Temperance. We want it healed. We're just having difficulty healing it. I know I used the word indulging before, and I really didn't mean to insult you in any way. What I mean by indulging, and it definitely was the wrong word that I was given, but it's like continuing to revisit it and revisit it and revisit it and talk about it as if it just happened 5 minutes ago, but it didn't just happen 5 minutes ago. So we're spending more time thinking about it and more time talking about it than we're actually spending on physically, like really healing it. Again, using that tablecloth as the analogy, we keep talking about the spill and how it happened and who did it, but we're not actually taking that tablecloth and running to the sink or, filling a bucket up with water and soap and trying to get the stain out. So we have not addressed the cleaning up, if you will, the aftermath. Clarify Temperance here. One more shuffle. Thank you. Temperance is clarified by the Sun. That is healing. The Ten of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, the Wheel of Fortune. So this seems to be a little bit of a cycle here where we really do want to heal this in its totality of the Ten of Pentacles. We want to heal every aspect of it. The Seven of Pentacles, it's been very slow. The healing of this wound has been very slow. The Loop, the Ten of Wands to Justice. I feel like some of you want this person to make it right. You want an apology or corrected behavior, maybe reconciliation, maybe a monetary payout if this was like a boss that screwed you over, or you just want the universe to give this person a good dose of karma. There's something like that. I'm waiting for something or someone to make this right because I shouldn't have to carry this. Like I'm carrying the weight of the pain now, the Ten of Wands, And I'm finding it difficult to get through my day. I mean, I stumble with carrying the Three of Swords and the Ten of Swords. I'm speaking like you. And someone has to make this right. It's not fair that they get to go and live their life and have all these great experiences or act like nothing happened. And meanwhile, I'm left holding this. And I don't want to hold this anymore. So I feel like regardless of how long ago that Three of Swords was, like when you still talk about it today, I feel like you talk about it like it literally just happened 5 minutes ago. Ten of Wands. Clarify that Ten of Wands. So the pattern here that we're repeating, spending more time thinking about it, talking about it, and waiting for something or someone to make it right, and not really investing enough time into actually healing it. Tell me about that Ten of Wands. One more shuffle here. Thank you. King of Wands. Four of Swords. You're waiting for this person to take action to come in and heal it. And Two of Swords. Bottom of the deck, Four of Cups. So there's a feeling like, and again, if it's not that person, it's just like the universe. Like, I want someone to make this right. I want someone to take the initiative and make this right. Why am I carrying this alone? And they get to go and carry on with their lives. And I don't know how this can be made right, but someone needs to make this right, because what happened to me was an injustice. Like, I'm speaking like you, like I did not deserve this. And I'm not saying you did. I'm not saying you did at all. Justice. Clarify justice. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Justice. Clarified by King of Swords, the Hermit, and the Page of Wands. Bottom of the deck, the Ten of Cups. There's almost a feeling here of like, my happiness cannot be truly restored until someone comes in and makes this right. Someone, something needs to make this right. This was not fair that I experienced this at this person's hands. I trusted this person. Justice, King of Swords, the Hermit, and the Page of Wands. I took a chance. I took a leap of faith. Page of Wands is minor arcana card to the Fool card. So I took a leap of faith to trust this person. I saw them as the King of Swords to the Hermit. Someone who is wise, honest, noble, someone I looked up to. And I don't know who this is. Friend, family member, lover, boss. I had great esteem and respect for this person. I thought they were wise. And so either they have to make it right or someone else needs to make it right. I can't fully heal or fully be happy until the person who did this to me either corrects it or receives some type of karmic retribution for what occurred here. If it's not your message, don't take it. Check another placement. But I have a very angry Capricorn collective here. And I don't blame you. But we're spending too much time seeking or desiring or wanting justice or explanations or closure. And we're spending more time on that than actually healing what transpired here, like within ourselves. Seven of Pentacles. So something here will occur during Mercury retrograde. Maybe it's this reading. I don't know. It'll give you the insight that Seven of Pentacles, we need to invest more time on the healing and less time about revisiting this incident like it just happened 5 minutes ago. It didn't just happen 5 minutes ago. I'm sorry if you're the cross watcher. I'm going to speak very bluntly now. This person was an a-hole. This is in your energy. This person was an a-hole, a liar, a cheater. They deceived me. They backstabbed me. They betrayed me. I didn't deserve it. I showed up in my highest vibration in the King of Pentacles. I gave my all to whomever, whatever this is. I either worked my ass off in that King of Pentacles energy for this company, or I was the main provider of this, marriage, or I supported this person on their road to success as their romantic partner. There's something here where I was solid and I was grounded and I showed up in best form, and what happened to me isn't fair and someone needs to make it right. And every time you talk about it, you get angry over the fact that to date, no one has made it right. I think I got that all out. Seven of Pentacles. What is the insight? One more shuffle here. Thank you. Nine of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the Five of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Page of Wands. The insight here, and I don't know how this will come about. Conversation, something you see online. Maybe it's this video. I'm continually making the choice to discuss this or portray myself as a victim. Please don't be mad at me. High Priestess. Tell me about the High Priestess. because there's anger. There's unresolved anger here. I could feel it. I'm angry for you right now because I'm like absorbing your energy. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The High Priestess, clarified by the Six of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and the Seven of Wands. Bottom of the deck, the Four of Pentacles. So something here is taking place. You're having a conversation here with someone. Maybe you're seeing something online. Someone in some way is going to remind you of that past incident. And you're going to feel really angry about it. And that should be your moment where you realize, I really have not dedicated enough time to healing this. It could even be the person themselves, because they're reappearing here. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Again, it doesn't have to be that sign, but it very well could be for some of you an interaction with this person that re-triggers that wound. So even if you're trying for reconciliation, or let's say it's a boss and you're still at work, something they do or say hits that wound and you're like, I'm still not over it. I'm still not over what they did or what they said. And again, this could be someone very innocent, like you and I are sitting down and having a drink together, and we're just talking, and maybe I share with you an experience that I'm going through, and it's very similar, and it makes you angry. It makes you feel like you're reliving it just hearing me talk about it. So it could be a very innocent conversation, Six of Cups to the Queen of Swords, but it makes you feel very combative in the Seven of Wands because it triggers for you that wound. It makes you realize you're not fully over it. I can give you a quick example and you extrapolate it to your life how you see fit. I knew a couple where he cheated and she stayed. She really wanted to make the marriage work. And he cheated on her multiple times throughout the marriage. Every time she stayed, and she really convinced herself that she was healed. She didn't realize she was still anchored or attached to the wound, or she just didn't want to see it, maybe like in that Two of Swords, kind of blindfolded. And she was having a discussion with a group of us, and another woman in our group, another friend in our group, had said she had just discovered some items in her husband's bedside table that did not belong to her. And they were kind of like hidden, like in the underwear drawer. And it made her realize he was probably having an affair again, possibly with the same woman or someone else. And it re-triggered for this friend that wound from like 10 years prior. She got so angry. Like, how effing dare he? You raised his kids. It was an overreaction where some of us at the table, even though we have experienced something similar to that in our life, didn't have that reaction. We had empathy for the woman. We were compassionate towards the woman. We certainly understood where she was in that moment, sharing that with us. But we were not as angry as that other friend. And she like blew, like her whole face turned around. You could tell the blood pressure just went like through the roof. And she excused herself, went to the woman's room. She came back, she sat down. We were all very quiet. And she goes, well, I guess I'm not really over it. So it's kind of like this feeling. It could be like I said, an innocent conversation or something you see on TV. You see a movie or a soap opera or a show, and whoever you're watching or listening to says that they're going through the same thing, or it's a movie or a soap opera and it's the same storyline, and it triggers for you that aggression, and it makes you realize you're not yet over that. You have not fully healed that. You are at your core still angry about that. So the insight is it's as raw and as real as it happened 5 minutes ago, despite your effort to try to move on from it or to forgive the person, because at the core of you, subconsciously, you still feel like what occurred was wrong. It was an injustice and no one ever made it right, and someone should have made it right. Oh, look what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm feeling your anger. So the filter here is to see that we are still holding on to anger. Look at that Knight of Swords in the After Tarot deck, like slaying. We're still holding on to anger that we need to heal. Knight of Pentacles is Virgo. We need to heal this. So this should be a moment or an experience. Even if you're having this person still in your life, there's something that they do that triggers that wound for you, where you realize, even in your best effort to try to forgive and come back together with this friend or family member or lover, something they do or say, and they might be perfectly innocent this time, but it will be reminiscent of that wound. It's going to trigger the anger for you. It doesn't mean that they're guilty in this moment of maybe what they did in the past, but it is meant to give you insight that you're still not over the wound. You are still holding on to Five of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, Ten of Swords, Three of Swords. And that Seven of Wands is anger. It's anger that someone crossed the line. It's anger that they crossed a boundary. It's anger that they tested your goodwill, that they took advantage of you. Tell me about the Knight of Pentacles. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Knight of Pentacles, clarified by the Page of Pentacles. So this would be learning. Page of Pentacles, Five of Swords, and the Six of Wands. Bottom of deck, Strength card. So there's an ability here, or opportunity. Okay, opportunity to learn how to manage those emotions in an effective way where you can be triumphant over them and begin to heal. So the next time you talk about it, you're not as angry. So there's something here. We need to pivot. We need to pivot and get some help with this. So some of you really need to talk to someone about this. If not, maybe some self-help stuff online. But we need to learn how to heal. So when these conversations come up, Five of Swords, we can handle them from the perspective of being a survivor and not being a victim. Because this is victimhood. And look, again, I don't know how bad that was. I mean, that could have been terrible. But the path forward of healing is to rise up and sort of phoenix rising from the ashes here and moving forward and being able to converse about this or see things online or maybe even engage with this person from a more healed place. Clarify the Knight of Swords. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Knight of Swords, clarified by the Nine of Swords, the Knight of Wands, and the Page of Swords. Bottom of that, Queen of Cups. There's definitely something here about talking. This is either getting like information online to like help you expedite the healing. I feel like a lot of you think about this all the time. It might still affect your sleep, regardless of how long ago it happened. So there's something here about getting so angry at the hurt and realizing I need to transmute this into power. And power means getting control of these thoughts and getting control of this pain and getting to the root cause of it and discovering different ways on how I can heal it. Whether that's therapy, counseling, self-help, watching videos online, joining a community online in that Knight of Swords of other people who were triumphant and successful over the pain, building community, getting involved in like maybe like a community group or something of people who have gone through that or something similar. Again, even if it's online, Page of Swords. The pivot here is using all of the resources at your disposal in that Magician card to rebuild yourself after that heartache. Because even if the universe came in and gave that person the best dose of karma, let's say you don't want them in your life ever again, and you just want the universe to give them back tenfold what they did to you. Even if that happened, you still have the wound. It still needs to be healed. If that person comes back on bended knee and they change and they become the best boss, family member, sibling, lover, friend, whatever they are to you, the best of the best, they never F up ever again for the rest of your life that they're in your life. What they did is still, the wound is still there. So this isn't even so much about this person coming back around or making it right or reunion or reconciliation or the universe giving them the best freaking dose of, karmic justice you can come up with. This is about you utilizing all of the tools at your disposal to rebuild your broken heart. You're not responsible for what they did, but unfortunately, you are responsible for healing the wound that they caused. Your heart now is your responsibility. I know you trusted them with it, and they didn't do right by you, but you and you alone are responsible for accessing various tools, if you will, or means to rebuild, Three of Pentacles, that heart within you. It's not up to this person to do it. It's not up to the universe to do it. It's up to you to do it. The Magician, clarify the Magician. So this is the pivot. This is using the time frame of Mercury retrograde. So the retrograde begins on June 29th. We are already in pre-shadow as of June 12th. The planet itself will be in retrograde until July 23rd. And then we have a post-shadow period until August 3rd. So between now and August 3rd, something here transpires that make you realize, regardless of whether or not you want this person back or not, regardless of whether or not the universe has or hasn't given them what you feel they deserve, whether or not they've made it right or not, the wound still exists regardless of how long ago it happened. You're still effing angry over it. So something here transpires that gives you that insight that says, I spend more time thinking about this, or more time being wounded about this, or more time talking about this than I actually am into healing it. So I need to take some of that Seven of Pentacles time, resources, and actually invest in healing this. And again, there's something here with maybe like online or in person, therapy, self-help, community group. It's on me to heal this. I know that's really terrible. You didn't ask for that, but it's on you to heal it. It's like, trying to come up with an example that won't get me demonetized or the video banned. It's like being in at a location, okay, being at a location where there's some type of act of violence or terror or something, and the perpetrator or perpetrators, whatever they're doing, inflicts physical injury on you, okay, and now you have a wound and you're bleeding or you're injured in some way. This is like expecting them to come in with the first aid kit, you know what I mean? Or the operating table or whatever it is to like help heal you because of the wound that they created. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Even if they feel sorry that you were some innocent bystander that got hit with shrapnel, they're still not going to come and help you. And the universe, no matter what retribution the universe may give them, it's not going to heal the wound. It's not going to stop the bleeding. So unfortunately, it's on you to stop the bleeding here and to utilize anything you can to get a tourniquet on this, to look at it, it's becoming an infection, and we need to actively heal it. And that, unfortunately, is our responsibility. The Magician, whether we forgive who did this or not. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Magician is clarified by the Hierophant, the Tower, and the Ace of Pentacles, bottom of deck, Seven of Swords. This changes the game. This takes the power from what you went through or what they did and places it firmly in your hands. This is you saying, I'm going to use all the tools in my arsenal to rapidly heal this. And I'm not going to stop. Like I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to talk to someone. I'm going to join a community group. I'm going to look online. I'm going to look for self-help. I'm going to utilize all of the tools accessible to me to heal this. I want to be solid and whole again. And I'm recognizing that I need to own this. That's the pivot. And using this time frame to identify those various resources. That changes the game for you. I'm not saying you wake up August 4th and you're 100% healed, but now you feel like you've taken control of this. You're not just laying there bleeding out anymore. Now you have active control over the healing. You're not waiting for anyone to make this right, or the universe or anything like that. And you're no longer ignoring it either. Three of Pentacles, one more shuffle. Thank you. Clarified by the Four of Cups, the Moon, and the Five of Swords, bottom of that King of Cups. This will set the stage for you to be able to heal this so that in the future, when you do heal about it, when you do speak about it, you won't be speaking from a place of anger or aggression. That Five of Swords here, we're not fighting in the After Tarot deck. And that might be something you can't see now, even at the time of this reading. You might be like, no way, Jen. No matter what help or healing I get or what happens to that person, or I am never going to get over what they did to me. Fair enough. But it's not going to sting because it won't be bleeding anymore. There's some kind of triage here that is needed. Emotionally, financially, okay, maybe physically. And unfortunately, the onus is on you to heal it. I'll give you a quick story. I forgot who I shared it with, which zodiac sign it was at this point. But when I was 19 years old, I was in a very physically abusive relationship, and he was the apple of my eye. Okay. I started a job as a bank teller, and became friends with the head bank teller, if you will. Um, and she got married a few months later, invited all of us to the wedding, and I went there, and it was love at first sight with her brother. And no one knew. I certainly didn't know that this man had an addiction that made him very violent behind closed doors, physically, financially, sexually, you name it. And he very, very quickly rushed the whole relationship. And my brothers at the time just thought he was the best thing ever because he presented himself very well, very King of Pentacles, very Emperor like. And he was not whatsoever. And it took me almost 18 months because I kept the loop. I just kept going back and going back, and this time would be different. And he really loves me. He's very sorry. And it was the drugs, and I made a ton of excuses. Um, and it ended with the fracturing of my collarbone. After that, there was no return for me after that. But it was on me, even though he did it. It was on me for triage. It was on me to get the medical help I needed. And then consequently afterwards, the psychological help that I needed. I had to utilize all of the resources available to me at that time, which wasn't a lot back then in 1993, 94, something like that. But I had to find what I could find at the time. It was on me to heal that medically, spiritually, mentally, the whole thing. And now today when I speak about it, I'm not angry about it. I actually looked him up online a couple of years ago and reconnected with him and found out he's married, and unfortunately his wife Fran has breast cancer, and I wish her all the best. She seems like a very nice woman. They've got a couple of daughters. And he seems over, from the brief conversations we've had that, and speaking with her, that he really ended up being a very, model husband, a model partner, a model father. And I love that for him. And I wish him the best. And I can speak about him now in that way. And will I ever forget the Three of Swords, Ten of Swords? No. But talking about it doesn't affect me the same way. But for you to overcome whatever this is, you're going to have to kind of do what I did. You're going to have to utilize all of the resources available to you to help you heal. Whether you can forgive them or not, or welcome them back into your life or not, is up to you. But unfortunately, the healing is your responsibility. I feel like if you don't do this during this time period, on the return, we just go right back to the Nine of Swords, where we ruminate about it all the time and we're angry about it. Nine of Swords is astrologically Mars in Gemini. So every time we talk about it, we're angry. Every time we think about it, we're angry. I think we have a real chance to heal this. Okay. I say that not just as your tarot reader, but as your friend. I think we have a real chance here to heal it. But unfortunately, the responsibility rests on you to find those various resources. Tell me more about that Nine of Swords. One more shuffle. Thank you. Nine of Swords, clarified by Five of Cups, Judgment, and the Eight of Wands. Bottom of the deck, Queen of Swords. So again, if we don't heal this or utilize different avenues and different tools to heal it, and look, maybe some tools will work for you, maybe they don't. I've known people that they don't really like therapy, even when they try it. They just don't feel comfortable with it. Some people don't like the in-person. Maybe you want to try online therapy. If that doesn't work, maybe there's some type of group of survivors that have survived this that you can speak to. So there's something like that here at play. Just because one doesn't work doesn't mean that you shouldn't try another avenue. Because I feel like if you don't, we go right back to the Eight of Wands, to Judgment, to the Five of Cups. We're still waiting for someone to come along and make this right. Or again, that there's anger and aggression here. Ace of Swords. Tell me about the Ace of Swords. We go right back to that Ace of Swords. Like, the way we talk about it is still painful. We're still traumatized by it. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Ace of Swords is clarified by the Nine of Wands, the Wound, the King of Wands, and the Two of Pentacles. Bottom of deck, Four of Swords. And healing will still be required. And it'll still be on you to heal this. I feel like you go right back. So you'll have an opportunity here during Mercury retrograde to give you some insight that regardless of how long ago that happened, you are still actively interacting with people or thinking about it or communicating about it as if it happened 5 minutes ago. It's also very, what do you call, dysregulating for your nervous system. When you're speaking about something, like I just, shared with you what I went through many years ago. I'm 52 now. But if I were to talk about it with that same pain that I had as a 19-year-old, my blood pressure would be through the roof right now. So I would also pay attention. Maybe the insight for some of you is just watching this reading, and how is that a trigger for you? If this reading is a trigger for you, then that's a wound that needs to be healed. Because if you're really healed from that one incident, it's not a trigger to talk about it. You talk about it like it's an unfortunate experience that you went through, and you're a stronger, better person for it. Let's get you some oracle cards and kippers. And I also want to see what's at the bottom of those decks for you. So let's get 3 oracle cards here, please. So the anchor is the pain. You're anchored to pain from a traumatic experience. The loop is we spend more time thinking about it, talking about it, than we actually do spending time healing it. Something will transpire during Mercury retrograde that'll give you the insight that it's not fully healed or more healing is needed. And it's just a suggestion here is the way to filter through that pain is to look for different avenues between now and August 3rd that you can begin to move forward and heal this. And yes, in time, you will be able to speak about it just like I did, without the anger, without the aggression. And most of you will even be able to forgive the person. Not make excuses for them, but forgive them. There's also a level of gratitude. And when I say that, there are people that look at me like I have 3 dragon heads popping up out of my neck. But yeah, I forgive him for what he did. Not for him, for me. But I forgive him for what he did. I didn't forgive him at 19. But at 52, I forgive him for what he did. He didn't know any better. I didn't know any better. He made some bad choices. As did I. I kept returning. And I have to own that part of it. And I have to forgive myself for that too. So your story, the narrative of this will change as you're healed. If you talk about it and you're angry, you have a little more work to do, and that's okay. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Vision. Heart's desire. Enlightenment. Bottom of the deck to flow. Vision. Look to the future with foresight and make wise choices. There's something here again. Looking out into the future and saying, I really need to heal this. I don't want to continue to carry this emotional pain or baggage into my future with me. I want to be able to look into the future and see myself healed from this and being able to converse about it or even think about it without feeling the flood of emotions like it just happened 5 minutes ago. Heart's desire. Ignite your inner passion and desires driving you towards your dreams. You can't just do this because a tarot reading tells you to do it or a therapist tells you to do it. You have to really love yourself. You're going to have to put all of yourself into this. It needs to be a heart's desire to tend to this wound and heal it. Enlightenment. Gain deep understanding and insight and open the door to new wisdom. Again, new ways on how to heal this. And I'm not a big proponent of using AI for therapy, but I do use AI like a search tool. So maybe if you go on Google and you click the AI mode, you say, give me 5 reasons on how I can begin healing myself from betrayal, and say whatever that betrayal is. And it might give you some options or choices that you had not thought about before. And so that could be a way to like open the door to some new ideas. Because we're all very quick to say therapy, but again, that doesn't work for everyone. So you might want to do an internet search to see how other people who experienced that, regardless of how long ago it was, what tools did they use to help them heal? And then you just, one after another. You try this one, it doesn't work, you try the next one. But whatever you do, don't give up on the healing. Let's get you some oracle cards. Yeah, in silence, peace prevails. When you can sit in total solitude and think about this and be at peace with it, then you know you're truly healed. 2 cards here, one for the anchor and one for the loop. We have pathway and we have sudden wealth. I hate to say this to you, but you gained a significant amount of knowledge from having this experience on your path. And again, I don't know how bad that was for you, but there's something here about gratitude, and maybe you can't see it now and you probably just clicked off of the video, but I assure you in the future, you will be grateful for what took place. It either got you out of a bad situation, environment, or connection. It made you more empathic towards people who experience it. Now you become a wise leader, a wise counselor for others. Now you know the value of yourself, what you should and should not tolerate. Now you know what a healthy work environment or marriage or relationship should be, so you won't fall for that again. So in time, not now, but in time, you will see that that was part of your life's journey. Surrendering to the journey. Surrendering that as bad as that was, I was meant to learn something from it. 2 cards here, insight and filter. The insight, the privileged lady, and then the filter came out on the side. So looking for different ways on how we can take control. This 9 of Pentacles control, 9 of Pentacles control, to ground ourselves and to look for ways on how to fully heal it, because it's not fully healed. Even if we're not engaging with that person anymore, the wound is still there. We need to like fully heal this. And 2 cards here, one for the pivot and one for the return. Bad health. The pivot is looking for ways to heal from this incident, this memory, this experience. And the return. The return is main female, sort of came out on the side, and then we have the thoughts card at the bottom of the deck. So again, it's not feeling very, and I don't read body parts, it could be a masculine, but not feeling very steady or grounded every time you think about this. The bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Swords, the 4 of Wands, and the Queen of Pentacles. For real happiness here to be restored, so you're not like stuck in looking back at what happened here when you put your faith, hope, trust in this person and they sabotaged it. You really need to, I hate to say you need to, but there is something here about healing that wound for happiness to truly be restored to you. 4 of Swords, healing, Hierophant, from whatever this person said or did. I mean, for some of you, someone you were married to, or like I said, family, could even be like a boss who really screwed you over. But the pathway here to new, whether you want to keep this person or not, the pathway to new is healing this once and for all. Whoever this was in that Hierophant energy, it was someone you really trusted. Last person on earth you thought would betray you, and they did. But it's time to heal that wound. And the best version of yourself is the healed version of yourself. It's time to do some real triage here for the Capricorn collective. And I hope you utilize these messages to do just that, because you deserve to be whole and healthy and happy again. And that's what I wish for you. That's what I have for you, Capricorn. That is your Mercury in retrograde message. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that. And don't forget to check out your other placements. Until I read for you again, be gentle with yourself. And as always, I'm wishing you light, love, and peace.